I don't think he's had a misstep all year. That is a quote from a rookie GM on a rookie head coach. That is a really good thing to hear. And while you might scoff at that, we have challenged, because I think we kind of agree, like, there might be little nitpicky things here and there, but anytime we've had that, we've asked, and he's had a very reasonable response to it. Yeah. Right? We've asked our listeners, like, is there something we're forgetting that Luke really screwed the pooch on? Yeah. And I can't think of anything.
No, I can't think of anything either. I really think that, it was pretty evident, early on in the season that Richardson was a much different coach than his predecessor. And, Kyle Davidson talked about, coming in and Richardson having a structure and everything. And Caleb Jones today kind of said it without saying it about Jeremy Colleton. Said something along the lines of, Luke Richardson coming in, having a sound structure and game plan was something that they didn't play with last year. And I don't know about you, but hockey without a structure doesn't seem like something that should be happening in the NHL.
Let alone for over 3 seasons.
So, I mean, it's Luke Richardson didn't really have a high bar set before him to cross, but I think what he did this season with the roster he was given, and all the little nuances that he brings as a coach, I think have gelled well, and I think there's no reason to doubt that once this team is ready to be competitive again, that Richardson will be able to take the talent on that roster and take it to that next level, and I think for his first NHL head coaching full-time job, we've said it semi-jokingly, like he should probably get at least a vote for the Jack Adams Award, not to win, but to be, maybe third place or whatever. He should get some sort of vote for how the team played under him and the kind of the roster he was given.
Luke Richardson walked into the ideal situation for a first-time head coach here. Yeah. Zero expectations. No, it was the perfect storm for him to get his feet cemented in and get his way in. Because he knew, hey, you know what? I have free reign to kind of do things how I want to do. It was pretty easy for him to identify who his top 6 was going to be. These are my 4 best guys. Mix and match those guys up top. And then the rest of my roster is the same freaking guys, so it really doesn't matter where I put them. Yeah. No one was complaining about roster decisions. You have a guy that in his first year as a head coach finished 1 point shy of having the fewest points in the league, and his head coach and his boss says he did not make a single misstep.
Meanwhile, the Ducks fired their coach today.
Well, because the Ducks weren't supposed to.
Ducks had expectations.
They weren't trying for a playoff spot.
They weren't trying to finish worst.
Right.
They were a borderline playoff team. They've got some amazing young talent who just wasted a complete season of their development. Dallas Eakins, I think he's I don't see how he gets another job. You can't win with Connor McDavid, and then
he's a former player and he's white, so he'll be fine.
Valid points.
Not wrong.
A good, on your perfect storm for Luke Richardson thing. The other thing is, most of the time when a coach would jump into a situation like this with no expectations and you kind of want to lose and that's the plan, he also this year had the benefit of managing supreme egos. And it's not a knock on Kane and Taves, but they have egos, as they should. They're 2 of the best players in the history of the game. Seth Jones is a multi-time All-Star. So he was in a room with guys with personality. Max Domi. So not only is he in the, I don't have to worry about winning, but he also doesn't have to wait to get that experience of having that true superstar on the team. Like, if he comes in and it's year 1 of a rebuild and it's what it looked like after the deadline, it's different than what he's had to manage for the first part of the season. Yeah. So if in 2 years, and fingers crossed, it's not going to happen, but Austin Matthews signs with the Blackhawks, dealing with a personality like Austin Matthews isn't going to be foreign to Luke Richardson. Yeah. He'll have done it with Kane and Taves and Domi and on and on and on. So it really, like you say, the perfect storm. It really was. No expectations, good established players in the locker room. Also, in that vein, to help put him over with the other guys, because when those guys buy in on Richardson, well, the others are going to fall in line too, right? And I think Jeremy Collin was a boob. Let's make no mistake.
That's an insult.
However, and I would never insult boobs.
Do not besmirch boobs in my presence.
But like, that dude was hired and met with an eye roll from several of the veterans. He never had a shot.
Everybody knew it was a joke.
Yes.
Nobody took him seriously. The only person that took him seriously was Jeremy Colleton. And the goof that hired him.
From what I understand, Kane kind of liked him because they connected on
Well, they
like
had
that
that
analytical
hockey brain.
Yes, they connected on like the analytical aspect of the game. So Kane was like, all right, I'll give him a shot. But the other vets were like,
I mean,
I'll never forget the video of Duncan Keith just like completely tuning him out.
I mean, Jonathan Taves took the whiteboard from him during a timeout on the ice.
Oh my God.
Completely emasculated him.
Quit
Completely
on the
It's like, give me this. Let us do it ourselves because you are just a waste of a suit right now.
Yeah.
You're a waste of oxygen behind this bench.
Oh man.
It's just so frustrating that actually, and I understand it. You see it all the time in pro sports. You usually kind of switch. You know, if it wasn't working anymore with a certain style of coach, you try and go exact opposite.
Yeah.
You had Joe Quenneville, the old school, badass kind of guy. So you wanted to do the opposite.
Bring in the new school wimp.
But you totally brought in the exact opposite. Not in a good way either. So yeah, and then Derek King.
And you follow it up. Well, yeah, and
Derek
Derek
King
King was again put into a situation.
Right, but Derek King's the guy that's going to put his arm around you and tell you knock jokes before he's screaming at you.
Right.
That's his personality, but at least he can figure out, a simple game plan.
Right.
So, yeah, Luke Richardson definitely laid the foundation, and a lot of guys talked about it today. When we were talking about, the culture that was being laid down, and guys were being asked. I think it was John Dietz that kind of asked all the guys we talked to today, saying, "Hey, how long did it take you to realize that, hey, this coach might be pretty good at this thing?" And a lot of guys were saying, "Didn't take very long at all."
Yeah.
They talked about repetition and doing things over and over to when it got to the point where it just was normal, and that's how you do things, and just so many things that just seem so simple, and so it's right there in front of you. And an interesting thing that Tyler Johnson had talked about I don't know if we have that clip, but about how he's expecting things to get a little more complicated next year. That now Luke has set his foundation, and now he can start adding little extra pieces to it.
We have it on
building
Twitter.
on it.
Steven, can I send it to you, or are you going to punch me?
No, you can send it.
All right, Steven's the last guy I wanted to punch me. He goes to the
works
gun
out.
show every
Jake
day.
He works
McCabe,
out.
maybe.
Well, he's not sitting 8 feet from us.
Jake
right
McCabe's
now.
not our producer yet. Yet.
No,
Get replaced.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is.
That's all right. I mean, I
We gave you the gist.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
pretty much said he thinks Luke is gonna, now that he's got
Step
his
the game up a
foundation,
little
he can
bit,
say,
yeah.
okay, now let's try this wrinkle here or this little differences here. And if you got guys that are going to be here for the long haul, like a Lucas Reichel, like one or two of the younger defensemen, then you can start implementing things
Yeah.
that can be used for longer periods of time.